Gentlemen, today we embark on the conquest of memory itself. Our aim to erase the identity of the Tamarian Moors and inscribe our own narrative upon their minds. Through deception, infiltration, and psychological warfare, we will sever their connection to their land and history. They will forget their ancestry, believe they arrived in chains, and look to us for identity. By controlling their past, we control their future. The Moors will become the foundation of our new world, stripped of legacy, fueling our empire. Let us proceed, for we are not just changing the world, we are creating it anew. The true prize is generational wealth, the Moors' lands, resources and legacy. By erasing their memory, we claim their inheritance and reduce them to poverty in their own home. Our system will ensure their labor enriches us, their poverty binds them, and their leaders serve our interests. The clergy and gatekeepers will pacify them, keeping them blind to their true estate. Generations will accept this reality as natural, never questioning their condition. Our control will be so complete, our presence barely needed. We will be the unseen gods of their world, their suffering a silent hymn to our triumph. To traffic a people, we must first dehumanize them, turning the Moors into black, a color, not a nation. Black has no flag, land or history. It is a legal fiction for ownership and exploitation. Through propaganda and law, we erase their Moorish ancestry and rewrite their story, to begin with enslavement. Legislative acts and legal codes will cement this transformation, making them commodities, not heirs. This paper genocide justifies their disenfranchisement and underpins white supremacy. They will internalize this brand, fighting over shades, never realizing the illusion. And we, the architects, will profit from their commodification. Blackness is a prison, rootless, nationless, perfect for control. Their culture will revolve around reacting to us, never reclaiming their true identity. If the Moors awaken, our system collapses. Their claim to the land would shatter our dominion. Every law, treaty and doctrine has been crafted to protect this lie and our control. We use international law and religious decrees as weapons, not justice. The Moors are lost in a labyrinth of legal fictions, believing their prison is the world. Our task, ensure they never find the map out. Their amnesia is our empire. Our model is the Spanish Inquisition. Psychological terror to forge obedience. We will demolish the Moors' spiritual foundations, making their identity a crime. Our courts, media and churches will become tribunals, burning their history at the stake. We will sow division, reward collaborators and turn them into enforcers of their own oppression. The goal force a conversion, not just of faith but of being, demanding they become black. Non-compliance means social and economic death. Their estate confiscated, their legacy erased. What we create now is a weapon of control so complete it eclipses the horrors of the past. To seize a continent, you need a mandate from God himself. The doctrine of discovery made grand larceny a holy mission. Lands of non-Christians became empty, ripe for Christian taking. This doctrine erased the Moors' history, making them mere occupants, not owners. It's not a relic. It shapes our laws and borders even now. Their fight was lost before it ever began. Just as we conquered their spirit with our religion, we will conquer their freedom with our economics. They turned a sacred space into a marketplace, a house of prayer into a den of thieves. We shall do the same, but on a global scale. Our first step is to seize control of the currency. We will ensure they do not. Debt is our most effective weapon. A nation in debt is a colony. This economic corruption will be presented as progress and modernization. Our pact is a secret alliance, princes and clergy united to suppress the will of the people and uphold our power. The spirit of the Treaty of Verona guides us: crush revolutions, extinguish liberty, and keep nations obedient. We prop up a clergy that preaches submission, rewarding them for loyalty. The world must see the Moors as a managed people, not a nation. Our power endures through silence, unity, and keeping the people in their place. The cage is built not just of steel but of law. Our legal system becomes the master tool, codifying subjugation in language that appears just but is designed to entrap. Through a labyrinth of statutes and court precedents, we create an invisible fence, jurisdiction, ensnaring the Moors as subjects, not sovereigns. Even birth certificates and licenses become weapons, erasing their true identity and binding them deeper into our legal matrix. The Act of 1871 quietly transformed the United States from a constitutional republic into a corporation, with the president as CEO and citizens as assets, not sovereigns. The Constitution became a corporate charter, and the 14th Amendment created a new class of citizen, property of the corporate state. The Moors, rebranded as black, became prime assets, their labor and future pledged as collateral. Today, their subjugation is not just social, it's a legally defined corporate policy. Executive Order 6102 was a declaration of war on financial sovereignty. Under the guise of a national emergency, we ordered the surrender of gold. Citizens exchanged real wealth for paper notes. We consolidated gold, then devalued the dollar. This act disarmed the populace and empowered our central bank. White supremacy is our grand deception, an ideology that justifies our power and wealth, making our dominance seem natural and righteous. It is taught in schools, preached from pulpits, and embedded in every facet of our culture. The Moor internalizes this narrative, believing in his own inferiority, his spirit to resist broken. The chains are no longer iron, they are forged from ideas, a prison for the mind. Ideology alone is not enough. It must be translated into political power. The Whigmore Party and its successors became instruments for consolidating our power, upholding our class and race. We created parties we secretly controlled, giving the illusion of democracy while excluding the Moors. Laws like poll taxes and literacy tests under the guise of fairness were barriers to keep them out. The political system became a fortress, ensuring the Moors remained subjects, not citizens. The judiciary is our final pillar of control. If the legislature crafts the bars and the executive locks the door, the judiciary convinces the prisoner the cage is his home. Our judges in black robes are the high priests of our legal religion, upholding our system and protecting our claim at all costs. Each ruling adds another layer of legal concrete over forgotten history, making truth harder to reach. The black robes are a symbol of the darkness into which we have cast the Moor. The law is not for you. This is our world governed by our rules. While we build their prison walls, we must not neglect the spiritual dimension. The clergy are our most effective agents, preaching passivity, obedience, and deferred rewards. Their churches become centers of indoctrination, teaching the masses to love their oppressors and wait for justice in the next life. The clergy tranquilize the people, channeling anger into harmless prayer. In return, they live in comfort, bound to our system, never daring to preach true liberation. They are the shepherds, keeping the flock peacefully in the pen. Beyond the church, we require another layer of control, under the guise of brotherhood and charity. For this, we have the Freemasons and the Shriners. These secret societies are perfect for neutralizing ambitious men. They create their own lodges, captivated by rituals and symbols. They believe they join an ancient brotherhood. In reality, these are pyramids of control. Lower-level members engage in charitable works, but the higher degrees answer to us. The brightest minds are drawn into this web. They channel energy into rituals, swearing oaths of secrecy. This enforces silence. The Shriners, with parades and hospitals, are the public relations wing. Their fezzes are a cruel joke. They parade wearing symbols of the empire they erased. Masons and Shriners keep ambitious men busy, preventing real change. Let us be perfectly clear about the mechanics of this loyalty. It is not secured by ideology alone, it is secured by coin. The upper echelons of the clergy, the masons and other gatekeepers are on our payroll. The kickback from Rome is not a myth, it is a central pillar of our operational budget. We funnel vast sums of money derived from the wealth we extracted from the Muir's own estate back to these leaders. This money flows from the Vatican Bank and the City of London, the twin centres of our global power, through a network of foundations and religious organisations, finally landing in the pockets of those who keep the Muirs asleep. This system of payment ensures their unwavering compliance. It is a conspiracy of comfort. These leaders are given a simple choice: preach a gospel of passivity and live like a king, or preach a gospel of truth and face social and financial ruin. The choice is rarely a difficult one. They become addicted to the lifestyle, to the respectability, and to the power they wield over their congregations. They will defend our system with more vigour than we ever could ourselves, because their personal prosperity depends entirely upon its continuation. They are not just collaborators, they are shareholders in the enterprise of their people's subjugation. The beauty of this arrangement is its deniability. The payments are disguised as grants for community programs, donations to their churches, or speakers' fees for religious conferences. It all appears perfectly legitimate. The congregation, seeing their church's coffers swell and their pastor's influence grow, will see it as a sign of God's blessing. They will not question the source of the funds. They will not ask why their leaders, who preach of a humble carpenter from Galilee, live with the opulence of Roman emperors. The corruption is hidden in plain sight, masked by the sacred robes of the clergy and the charitable veneer of their organizations. This financial control gives us the power to regulate the spiritual life of the Muir community. If a pastor begins to stray, if he starts to speak too much of history or sovereignty, the funds simply dry up. His programs falter, his influence wanes, and he is soon replaced by a more compliant voice. We have created a marketplace of ideas where only our approved narrative can afford to stay in business. This is the modern Inquisition, not one of fire and steel, but of finance and foreclosure. We do not need to burn heretics at the stake when we can simply bankrupt them, ensuring that the only message the Muirs hear is the one we have paid for. The greatest threat to our world is the awakening of the Moors, the Aboriginal Moors. If they remember who they are, our system collapses. Our laws, wealth and power rest on their amnesia. We must stamp out any spark of awakening before it becomes a flame. For if they open their eyes, our world will fall. Look upon our world. We have built a society where the descendants of the great Moorish empire wander as strangers, convinced of their own inferiority. They are the permanent underclass, their energy siphoned off, their identity reduced to a brand, black, worn with manufactured pride. Their frustration is contained, their history forgotten, their leaders guiding them in circles. Their story begins with our chains. The aftermath is quiet, orderly subjugation, a world built on forgetting. Colonialism hasn't ended, it's just changed form. Today, control is maintained not by armies, but through economic policies, legal fictions, and cultural dominance. The chains are now invisible, binding minds instead of bodies. This modern colonialism is everywhere, woven into our laws, media, and institutions, ensuring the system endures even as the old symbols fade. However, gentlemen, I would be remiss if I did not end on a note of caution. Even in the deepest darkness, seeds can lie dormant. The aftermath is stable, but it is not static. Whispers of the old truth persist. Despite our best efforts to control the narrative, fragments of their true history survive in family stories, in esoteric texts, and in the hearts of a few defiant individuals who refuse to forget. There is a growing murmur, a questioning of the official story. The words Moor and Moor are being spoken again, not as a historical footnote, but as a present-day identity. This is a dangerous glimmer of light in the darkness we have so carefully cultivated. These seeds of remembrance are our greatest vulnerability. The entire edifice of our power, from the fraudulent jurisdiction of our courts to the legitimacy of our property deeds, rests upon their collective amnesia. If these seeds sprout, if a critical mass of them discards the false identity of black and reclaims their sovereign Moorish heritage, the legal and moral basis of our empire will crumble. They will cease to be a domestic minority asking for rights and become a sovereign nation demanding the return of its stolen estate. The carefully constructed fallacies of the doctrine of discovery and the Act of 1871 would be exposed for the world to see. Therefore, our final and eternal act must be one of vigilant gardening. We must be relentless in weeding out these sprouts of truth. Our gatekeepers, the clergy, the academics, the media personalities, must be mobilized to discredit and ridicule anyone who speaks this truth. They must be branded as extremists, as cultists, as sovereign citizen terrorists. We must flood the information space with so much noise, so many distractions, and so much disinformation that the authentic signal of their history is drowned out. We must promote division and infighting among those who are beginning to awaken, ensuring they can never form a united front. Our work is a perpetual war against memory. We have won many battles, and the world we live in today is a testament to our victories. But the war is not over. The human spirit has a stubborn tendency towards truth and freedom, so let us leave this room today with a renewed sense of purpose. Let us be confident in our power, but let us not become complacent. The Moor is asleep, but he is not dead. Our mission, our sacred duty, is to ensure that his slumber is eternal. For on the day the Tamarian Moor truly awakens, our glorious world comes to an end. We have reached the crescendo of our discourse. From ancient fires to digital ledgers, we built an empire of consciousness. Our final chord resonates in the silent obedience of the dispossessed. The world is our masterpiece, poverty and prosperity side by side. Our power is the code running the world, trapping the Moor within. They seek justice, unaware the scales were fixed from the start. This is the final chord, a harmony of perfect, silent and profitable control. The war on memory is never over. An empire built on a lie requires constant vigilance. Every day is a battle against the human spirit's desire for truth. A single story, a single artifact can ignite a fire of awakening. Colonialism has become psychological and administrative, fought by clerks, programmers and the media. This is a quiet war, ensuring their minds remain our most securely held territory. Despite our power, despite the totality of our control, a spectre haunts this room. It is the spectre of the Moor awakening. It is the one scenario for which we have no final solution, the one threat that could unravel our centuries of work. If they find out they are not black, our entire system falls. This is the simple, terrifying truth that must guide our every action. It is the great fear that must prevent any hint of complacency. The hope for reclaiming their heritage is a virus we must constantly work to contain. Our empire, for all its apparent strength, is a house of cards built upon the single fragile assumption of their ignorance. Our unending vigil is therefore our most sacred duty. We must watch for the signs, we must monitor the whispers, we must be the silent guardians at the gates of their amnesia. The keepers of the sleep, our clergy, our masons, our paid leaders, are our first line of defense. They must be supported, enriched and empowered. Their message of submission and forgetfulness must be amplified above all others. They are the antibodies we have injected into the Moor body politic to attack and destroy any cell of sovereign consciousness that may arise. Their loyalty is our insurance policy against the apocalypse of awakening. We must hold fast to the confidence that has brought us this far. We are the architects of reality, the masters of the great work. We have turned humans into crayons. We have made them poor so that we may be rich. We have erased their fathers and mothers from the pages of history, but the confidence of a god requires the vigilance of a sentinel. For the human mind is a resilient and unpredictable thing. The truth, once buried, has a way of pushing back to the surface. Our system is perfect, but it is a system imposed upon an imperfect and unruly subject, the human soul itself. Let this be our final pact. We shall continue this work in this generation and the next. We will refine our methods, reinforce our lies, and redouble our vigilance. We will watch over their slumber as a shepherd guards his flock, not out of love, but because their wool is our wealth and their flesh is our sustenance. Let them dream of a promised land in the next life, so that we may continue to possess it in this one. The spectre of their awakening is real, gentlemen. Let it be the shadow that keeps our own minds sharp and our own resolve unbreakable. The night is long, and our vigil has no end.